population density has a great deal to do with people's perceptions on culture. It's easy to be good neighbors when your neighbors are far away. And it's sustainable to have a heavily rights-based approach towards governance, more so when you have sparser populations, when you have more dense populations. That's something that America is struggling with a little bit, because historically we've been an individualist nation that's successfully upheld the rights of individuals, but somewhere in the last 20 or 30 years, there was a paradigm shift such that political discourse became subsumed by this growing values rift. Like the actual policy positions of your average Republicans from a red state in the South and your average liberals from on the West Coast or something are probably not very different from each other. The problem is, in political discourse, we never actually talk about public policy. It's always about what your values are. Whether you support gun control or don't. Whether you support abortion or don't. Even though it's almost certainly the case that there will be no substantive change to the status quo on either of those issues, and thus they won't be policy considerations a given candidate will actually have any impact on. Those are the things that people are arguing about. So what difference does it make what my position is on abortion if, as president, no abortion bill ever crosses my desk? You know, what difference does it make what my position is on gun control if, when I'm president, no gun control legislation ever crosses my desk? Now, it's perfectly reasonable for voters to say, well, what if something does? And I will specify as far as I can and say, well, my position on abortion is the federal government shouldn't have any authority over this matter at all. And so I'd veto whatever bill crosses my desk. I'd say to allow the legislature to pass legislation on this issue would be a tacit concession that I think it's constitutional for them to do so, and I don't. I have a sworn duty to uphold the Constitution, so I am going to veto this bill. Now note, I'm vetoing the abortion bill no matter what it says, whether it allows more abortion or takes away abortion, whether it puts a gold star on abortion or a black check mark on abortion. Doesn't matter what it says, right? Because I believe in the integrity of the system. Since my job is to uphold the Constitution of the United States, it would be not in keeping with my duty to sign a bill that represents an unconstitutional seizure of power beyond those enumerated for them by the legislature. And if you think that a better answer would be, oh, I will make sure abortion's legal, or, oh, I will make sure abortion's not legal, if you think either of those is a better answer, shame on you and fuck off. You're a horrible citizen. You need to protect the integrity of the system. That's it. That's why everything's fucked up. Because you don't want to apply an honest approach that's applied with integrity when it's your pet issue. That's why things are fucked up. So if you come up and ask me the abortion question, and I tell you my answer, I will veto any abortion bill that crosses my desk because it's not an appropriate area for federal jurisdiction, and you think that I should instead either be in favor of pro-abortion or anti-abortion legislation, then you need to go home and seriously fuck yourself and look yourself in the mirror and say, when did I become such a coward and such an anti-patriot? When did I become such a traitor? That's what you need to say to yourself in the mirror. You've forgotten your priorities. You've forgotten your priorities. Your priority is to be a person of character, an honest person, a person with integrity, who understands what the actual job and duty of the president is before having an opinion about it. Fucking tards. Think that's going to win me a lot of votes? I do, actually. Yeah. Because, at the very least, it'll make people go, whoa. How did he get the moral high ground all of a sudden? Without taking a position on either side. Which is exactly what needs to happen to people. Every time people take positions on things on one side or the other that aren't even policy issues, they're just sort of general values tests. They need to be shamed, they need to have the living fuck shamed out of them so that they learn something about who has the actual moral high ground, grown-ups. enormous pimp. That's why I said for a long time, when I'm president, my first order of business is to make changes via case law and the Justice Department, because I understand how shit actually works. It doesn't really matter what comes out of the legislation, out of the legislature. What matters is how the courts interpret it. And there's been a long and shameful history of fucking activist courts interpreting laws to mean things exactly opposite of the plain language of them, or some other equivalent nightmarish buttfuckery. Well, I mean, that's the first order of business as an executive that I'm going to deal with case law. In the status quo, the courts have not made clear what comprises legitimate authority of executive orders, and we basically have, a temporary Kim Jong-un who can do whatever the fuck he wants and get away with whatever the fuck he wants, and is basically immune from everything until he's out of the presidency. That's not what it's supposed to be. So what I will do is force the court's hand by writing some bullshit executive orders that they can't possibly uphold. And I'll have my own Justice Department go in there and say, we are with the ACLU here. You should absolutely strike this executive order down. That's the point we're making here. You fucking appeasers. That you fucktards have not done your job. You are supposed to be the gatekeepers of liberty, justice, and the American way, and you have been sucking the dicks of traitors for decades, and you better fucking stop it. You're all getting publicly shamed by me and from the pulpit of the presidency for your total abdication of your duties as public servants and members of the judiciary to be honest and rational in your decision making. Not tell lies and dissemble and bullshit sophistry to justify claims that can't even possibly pass any muster. So yeah, I mean, I understand what a mess it is, okay? I get that. But I also get this. When people say, oh, it's such a mess, I say, here's the solution that I will do. And when they go, but this is also such a mess, and this is also such a mess. Listen, I got no time for problem admirers who just want to say, oh, fuck it, America's ruined, let's just throw in the towel. I've got no time for that kind of bullshit either. I got no time for treasonous Constitution haters, and I got no time for quitters. Oh, I will, KE. I will. I'll run for the presidency. It's the thing is, I'm aware of what the necessary but insufficient condition is, and I haven't met that necessary but insufficient condition yet. I need about, I'd say, 20 times my current visibility. I need about 150,000 subs, I think, to meaningfully launch a presidential run. That would give me the foundation I would need to do it. Talking with famous people.